what's your experience with being NF in regard to your faith, in regard to chasing the ideal or getting discouraged by the lack of ideal, if that's a problem for you or not a problem for you, and how you experience kind of that.
Yeah, I find that with NFs, sometimes their beliefs in Christianity can be seen as heretical. So, especially from the more legalistic communities of Christianity, I had an ENFP best friend who would say her true beliefs on certain statements, and then people would look at her with wide eyes and go like, "You believe that? How could you believe that?" When it was correct in the Bible. It was just a new look at how to read the passages, which there can be a lot of whiplash to these new ways of kind of conceptualizing what God's word is. And so oftentimes I find NFs have a very woo-woo way of interpreting Bible scriptures that other people can have difficulty understanding.
And so, for those who are who are not familiar with the Pygmalion effect, it's essentially um, it's a Greek story of when the sculptor Pygmalion created this sculpture of the perfect, beautiful woman, or his ideal woman, and then he loved on that sculpture as if she were real, and then Aphrodite blessed that sculpture for it to then become real. And that then became known as the Pygmalion effect, which essentially means that the more that you believe in something, the more that you have faith in something, the more real it's going to become for you. Of course, when I was younger, this was not something that I really ascribed to. I just had the faith, and that's just what it was. What I do know is that the spiritual realm is real. And the more that I, like Pygmalion, believe and lean into the magic rather than starting to like try to like rationalize certain things, then the more room I have, the more room I leave for God to operate in my life in a very mystical way.
And off of that point of leaning into magic, so a part of my NF childhood was feeling God's presence before even knowing what that was. So as a kid, it's easier to lean into magic because you're not overthinking things typically. And so you can just feel something very warm that's with you all the time. You don't really know what to do to describe it, but you know that it makes you want to give love to everyone. And that is the presence of God. And it is shown in innocence. And so oftentimes that's when I felt God the strongest and in the earliest form. And I think there's a certain type of NFs are naturally in tune that there is more, like there's a spiritual world definitely behind the materialistic or biological or physical world. It's just a known fact for the NF. Oh, of course the spiritual realm exists. And so in a way, we've always known God even before Christianity too.
Everyone, Christian, non-Christian, is groaning out and screaming out for God in their own way, and I think that the hunger is just so prevalent. I think, and specifically in NFs. I have a friend who's ENFJ, and you can just tell that there's a piece missing in regard to like spirituality. It's kind of like NFs without God or some kind of higher thing. I just kind of there's, yeah, something that they're striving towards. It's like there's a piece missing, and there's like, I think NFs have like a hole inside of them. I think everyone to an extent, but with NFs it's like really glaring. Wow, you're just really like missing out.